Environmental hazards and human health. Key learning outcomes. Define environmental hazards. Discuss the classification of environmental hazard. Define human health. Discuss environmental public health practice and explain the relationship between environmental and human health. So let us define what is environmental hazards. Environmental hazards. An environmental hazard is a substance, state, or even which has the potential to threaten the surrounding naturally environment or adversely affect people's health, including pollution and natural disasters such as storms and earthquakes. Environmental hazards are defined as extreme events or substances in the earth and its ecological system that may cause adverse consequences for human beings they value. These include geophysical and meteorological phenomena such as earthquakes and droughts. Examples of environmental hazards include air contaminants, toxic waste, radiation, disease-causing microorganisms and plants, pesticides, heavy metals, chemicals in consumer products, and lastly, the extreme temperatures and weather event. Types of environmental hazards. Common types of environmental hazards. Chemical hazards. A chemical hazard refers to a non-biological substance that has the potential to harm or cause a negative impact to the health and overall life of a human. Chemicals are found in everyday life, whether it be in someone's home, workplace, or in the air, which can cause both short and long-term health effects when absorbed in the body. Chemical hazards may be flammable or combustible, explosive, oxidizing, shock sensitive, or may react violently with elements such as water and air. Chemical hazards are toxic substances which causes damage to living organisms. Air pollutants such as secondhand smoke or carbon monoxide, heavy metals, and pesticides are few examples. We can be exposed to these contaminants from a variety of residential, commercial, and industrial sources. Here are some examples of chemical hazards: toxins, carcinogens, teratogens, irritants, and sensitizers. In addition, the chemical must enter the physical body somehow in order to place an effect on the human being. The four major routes of entry includes absorption through the eyes or skin, inhalation through the lungs, ingestion through the gastrointestinal tract via the mouth, then injection through the skin or a previous injury or wound. Lastly, the biological hazard.
Health hazard. This symbol shows a person with damage and pertains to chemicals that can cause serious long-term negative impacts on health. Carcinogenics are also substances that are known to be cancer-causing chemicals. They are categorized as either natural or man-made, but it is crucial to note that even a small amount of this type of chemical can severely damage human health. So it is a substance, activity, or condition that can negatively impact human health, either in the short or long term. Health hazard can be chemical, physical, biological, ergonomic, and psychological. Flammable. The symbol for this is flame and it pertains to chemicals or highly flammable gases that may catch fire or ignite once exposed to air or other ignition sources or elements. Flammable is a measure of how quickly a specific materials is capable of catching fire and burning. It indicates the ease with which a material can ignite and the intensity with which it burns when it catches on fire. Irritant, hazardous, and hazardous to ozone layer. This is symbolized by a big exclamation point and refers to chemicals that usually cause redness, rashes, or inflammation or the affected area. Although the presence of symptoms are normally short-term, there are still instances where they create long-lasting effects on others. It is also known to either cause harm to individuals or pose a threat to public health by harming the ozone layer. Gas under pressure. The symbol for this is a gas cylinder and it pertains to gases that are stored under pressure and may explode if heated or refrigerated gases that cause burns or injury. So, gases under pressure are gases which are contained in a receptacle container at a pressure of 200 kilopascals or 29 pounds square inch gauge or more, or which are liquefied and refrigerated. This includes compressed gases, liquefied gases, dissolved gases, and refrigerated liquefied gases. Corrosion. This spectrogram shows corrosion of material and skin. It refers to chemicals that can cause severe skin burns and damage to the tissue once contacted with. Explosives. This is symbolized by an exploding bomb and pertains to chemicals that may explode or can cause a mass explosion. Corrosion such as sodium hydroxide and phenol can cause burns to the skin and eyes. Dust from corrosive solids can be inhaled and cause irritation or burns to the respiratory tracts. Many corrosive solids such as potassium hydroxide and sodium hydroxide can produce considerable heat when dissolved in water. Oxidizers. This spectrogram shows a flame over a circle and symbolizes chemicals or substances that, under certain conditions or exposure to the other chemicals or elements, can cause severe physical hazards such as fires or explosions. So, oxidizer is a chemical substance that contains a high amount of oxygen in its structure, and it's used to provide oxygen for the combustion of fuel elements in rocket propellant and pyrotechnic compositions. Hazardous to the environment. The symbol for this is a dead tree and fish. It refers to chemicals that can cause lasting damage to the environment. Environmental hazards can be chemical, physical, mechanical, or psychosocial. For example of hazardous to environment is climate, water pollution, air pollution, and disease. Toxic. This spectrogram shows a skull and crossbones, and it symbolizes chemicals that even at a very low exposure can cause irreversible changes or mutations to a person's DNA, damage to health, or even a fatality. So it is a substance that can harm or damage living organisms. The danger of toxic hazard is determined by toxicity of the substance and how it can be introduced to organisms. Toxic substances can be natural or man-made. Biological hazards, also known as biohazards, refers to biological substances that pose a threat to the health of living organisms, primarily that of humans. This can include medical waste or samples of microorganisms, virus or toxin from a biological source that can affect human health. A biological hazards can be defined by a harmful or dangerous impact arising from the interaction among organisms within ecology and natural environment. A biological hazard may include bacterial infections, viruses, disease, or other forms of pathogens having a hazardous impacts of human beings. So biological hazard include bacteria, viruses, parasites, and molds of fungi. They can pose a threat to human health when they are inhaled, eaten, or come in contact with skin. They can cause illness such as food poisoning, tetanus, respiratory infections, or parasite infections. Here are some well-known examples of biological hazards: cholera, malaria, tuberculosis, influenza, mold, and fungi. Biological hazards come from ecological interaction between organisms. Biological hazards originate from an organic source and are transported by biological vectors, which in turn have the potential to harm the health of humans. An example of biological hazards are pathogens and diseases. For example, a virus. An infection disease is when a virus is transferred between organisms and they parasitize the other organisms, causing a hazardous impact but occurring naturally.
Physical hazards. Physical hazards includes processes which occur in the natural environment and can potentially have a harmful impact on the health of humans. A physical hazard is a type of occupational hazard that involves environmental hazard that can cause harm with or without contact. A physical hazard is an agent, factor, or circumstances that can cause harm with contact. They can be classified as type of occupational hazard or environmental hazard. Physical hazard include ergonomic hazards, radiation, heat and cold stress, vibration hazards, and noise hazards. As we can see in the right side picture, there are a slippery sign hazard and fall hazard that can cause in the stair. And there are some fall hazard that can cause to us in the other place or other circumstances. So this is the some example of physical hazards included the exposure to slips, trips, falls, noise, vibration, radiation, heat, fall, fire, and there are some physical hazards in the picture that we can see is slips, trips, and falls, exposure to harmful substance, confined spaces. Number 4 is the electricity. Number 5 is the extreme temperature and the toxic material.
Types of physical hazard. The main factors and conditions associated with physical hazard include electricity, heat, heights, noise, vibration, body stressing, confined spaces. To elaborate the example of heat strain, when a human works in an environment that may be too hot or extreme, such as high levels of humidity, thermal radiation, or simply through sun exposure, a physical hazard may occur, risking the health and safety of a human being. Another common physical hazard is a natural disaster. For example, a tornado. A tornado is considered a physical hazard because it puts human beings at risk for well-being and safety, but also their homes, belongings, and overall life. Cultural hazard. Cultural hazards, also known as lifestyle hazards, this refers to harmful outcomes arising from the day-to-day living of a human being. It is also the common ways of life and set of thoughts and feelings shared by the members of society. For example, cultural hazards such as unsafe working conditions, unsafe highways, criminal assault, and poverty, and also lifestyle choices such as smoking, making poor food choices, drinking too much alcohol, and having unsafe sex.
What are the environmental hazards in outdoor activities? Number 1. Traffic and pedestrian management, ultraviolet radiation exposure, adverse weather condition, rain, wind, ice, temperature, extreme, etc. Natural disaster like storm, fire, floods, etc. Animals and insects. Noxious plant, general environment, sharp object, trip, hazard, terrain, etc. Participants with pre-existing medical condition, incidents and injuries. Uncontrolled environment, workplace bullying and work-related violence. Positive and negative effects of environmental hazard. Positive effects: reduce of fuel consumption, reduce of greenhouse, reduce of resource consumption, reduce waste production, improve air quality, decrease water pollution, reduce noise pollution, improve ecological balance, restoration of tourist destination. Negative effects: increase in biomedical waste, increase in toxic chemical use, sanitizer, increase in municipal solid waste generation, haphazard disposal and recycling system. Ways to reduce your environmental footprints. Bring your carbon footprints down to size by following these 7 strategies. Number 1. Use energy more efficiently. Producing electricity and natural gas can delivering it to your door generates greenhouse gas emissions. Installing energy efficiently building system and equipment can save energy and reduce environmental footprints. Number 2. Installing renewables. Clean renewable energy such as solar and wind can reduce your impact on the environment significantly while lowering your energy bill. A variety of federal, states, and local incentives are available to make installing renewable energy. Number 3. conserve water energy is used and emission generate to heat the water used in your facilities and process wastewater, reduce water heater temperature and repair leaks, install low flows, shower heads and aerated faucets to reduce amount of water used. This can be especially effective in lodging and multifamily facilities with high hot water demand such as hospital and restaurants should consider heat recovery to capture energy from waste fluid to heat or preheat water. Number 4. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Your environmental footprints goes beyond energy use and your business. All the materials and equipment in your facility must be produced and shipped there and when disposed of all of which impacts the environment. Look for ways to use less. Could be something as simple as printing on both sides of paper and developing a better preventive maintenance programs to make equipment last longer. Establish a company-wide recycling program. Number 5. Travel less. Employees driving to and from work produce a substantial amount of air pollution. Encourage or subsidize employees to use public transportation or organize carpools and allow employees to work from home whenever possible. Minimize business travel through web conferencing, email, and other low emission. Number 6. Consider near sourcing. All business requires resource to function whether it is office supplies or raw materials from manufacturing, transporting these resources to your door, use energy and create emission near sourcing using vendors close to your business and going trend that can be reduce your environmental impact. And number 7, ship goods more efficiently. If your business deliver products, consider ways to reduce your shipping emissions. Ground shipments by rail or truck are generally more fuel efficient than shipping by air. Farewell full ground shipment will be use less fuel than frequent light loads. If you do not have enough goods for fulfillment shipments, consider teaming up with other local businesses. Republic Act No. 9512 on National Environmental Awareness and Education Act 2008, an act to promote environmental awareness through environmental education and for other purpose. This act provides for the promotion of environmental awareness through environmental education, which shall encompass environmental concept and principle, environmental laws and states of international and local environment best practices, the threats of environmental degradation and its impacts of human well-being, the responsibility of the citizens to the environmental are the value of conservation, protection, and rehabilitation of natural resources and the environment. Human health. What is human health? It is defined as the complete states of physical, social, and mental well-being, and not merely the absence of illness, disease, or infirmity. Is a vital resources as water, food, or energy. Health underpins the economy of modern society, providing employment for many in the healthcare sector and is an important driver of economic growth, accounting for a significant proportion of the total expenditure as percentage of the gross domestic products. In the most country, human health is one of the most important factors of pushing economic development in any economy. There are five main aspects of personal health: physical, emotional, social, spiritual, and intellectual.
Is the importance of human health. Having good health is directly related to leading a productive life. The functionality of the body is interconnected between various organs. Keeping the organs healthy is essential for proper functioning. As a healthy is the state of physical and mental social well-being. Having a good uh, health is important. So when people are good health, they can fully participate in daily activities, contribute to their communities, and pursue their dreams. And together, a healthy body support energy, resilience, and immunity, while a sound mind ensures clarify, focus, and emotional stability. There are eight human healthy needs. These are the breathing, water, essential fats, acid balance, movement, nutrition, and structural integrity. Relationship between environmental and human health. A clean environment is essential for human health and well-being. At the same time, the local environment can also be a source of stressor. For example, air pollution, noise, hazardous chemicals that negatively affect health. At a broader level, climate change, loss of biodiversity, and land degradation can also impact on human well-being by threatening the delivery of ecosystem service, such as access to fresh water and food productions. Human health and well-being are intimately linked to the state of the environment. Good quality natural environments provides basic needs in terms of clean air and water, fertile land for good productions and energy, and materials inputs for production. Green infrastructure also serves to regulate climate and prevent uh, flooding. Access to green and blue spaces also provides important opportunities for recreation and support well-being. To justify the relationship between environment and human health, it is deeply interconnected as the state of environment there. It is because direct impacts the well-being of individuals and communities. A health environment provides the essential resources needed for survival. It is included clean air, water, soil, and food, while an unhealthy environment can lead to wide range of health issues. Some things about environment hazards and healthy effects. Science has proven some links between health conditions and the environment. We know that poor air quality can trigger asthma attacks. Elevate blood leads levels in children can cause develop disabilities. Vulnerable populations like the elderly and infants are most at the risk for heart-related illness during the heat waves. Extreme weather that cause power outage can lead to cases of carbon monoxide poisoning. Environmental factors. First, the pollution. Pollution is defined as the introducing pollutants, organic molecules, or other unsafe materials into the Earth's atmosphere. This can either be caused by natural events like forest fires or by man-made activities like emission from automobiles, factors, nuclear waste, and etc. There are different types of pollution include air pollution, soil pollution, noise pollution, water pollution, radioactive pollution. So, as we all know, pollution is the is a global issue that poses significant threats to human health and wildlife and the planet's overall balance. Environmental factors, these are the deforestation. Deforestation refers to the cutting down of trees and the destruction of forest. This can either be for human habitation, used for natural causes. Deforestation has a tremendous negative impact on the environment. The most dramatic effect is a loss of trees and forests, which drives climate change, and several other problems have been raised for the ecosystem. So, meaning deforestation is the very known. Um, it, it is it is refers to the large scale clearing or removal forest. For non-forest use, agriculture, urbanization, and industrial activities. The third, environmental factors, this is the solid waste pollution. Solid waste pollution is also referred to as the type of pollution along with the air, water, noise, and soil pollution. Solid waste pollution refers to the improper disposal of solid waste, including the garbage, construction waste, metal pieces, glasses, and plastic products. Deadly and decaying matter, solid agriculture waste, medical waste, and radioactive waste, and etc. Meaning, solid waste pollution is refers to the accumulation of solid materials in the environment that are discarded by human activities and cannot decompose naturally. This type of pollution poses significant threats to ecosystem, human health, and overall environmental quality. Environmental factors, this is a change in climate conditions. There are several causes of climate change. The most significant effect on the climate is the increasing trend in the concentration of greenhouse gases and global warming in the atmosphere. Climate change is having an adverse effect on the environment. These are include the physical, chemical, and the biological characters of ecosystem other than natural disaster of humans are also responsible for climate change. The burning of fossil fuels, emissions from bicycles, and industries are few of them. A change in the global climate includes typhoons, rising temperature, an average to more rainfall, melting of global oceans, currents, and lots more. Explore more effects of climate changes. Mental health practices includes the collecting and monitoring data on environmental hazards and health effects, identifying environmental hazards, investigating